Well, guys, we've all walked by these a million times in Lowe's, Home Depot, different places, and up until today I always saw them as just an old style galvanized trash can. Occasionally I've seen people make them into smokers, and I had the idea today, being a DIY guy, I says, that there would make a wonderful reflector if you could just take this thing apart right down the seam there. So the plan today is to make a rather large, actually two by the time we split it, a rather large grow-lite reflector, which of course you could put a ton of different lights into. I'm going to be doing some CFLs, but the plan today is to get this thing apart and try to make this into a double grow-lite reflector, and I think it'll work very well as long as I can get this thing apart without beating it up too bad. Cheap, 20 bucks, will make two rather large reflectors. So if anyone out there is a DIY guy, this might be a project to you if I could pull it off. Well, let's see how it goes. Here, let's take a look how far we got so far. I thought about different ways I could go about cutting this and stuff, and I really thought the easiest way would just go with the grinder, with a metal cutting blade. And truthfully, that worked really well. What I did to start, because like I said, I'm no expert, this is my first go at this, so we're learning together. What I did to start was take these handles were out here on the outside, right where the seam is. So on the inside there was a little piece of metal on each one of these corners. You could see where it's been cut. So on the inside of the can, I just took the blade and just cut them four. Then I took a screwdriver on the outside here and pried a little bit, and as you can see, they pried right out of there. That was the first thing, because my plan is not to cut this all the way down except at the bottom, along the bottom with the blade, because I don't want a lot of metal to clean up. My plan is to use the existing seam to take apart, which, first to note, in case you do this, there's a steel bead that runs around the ring of this can. So you need to get in here and cut, hopefully that'll focus a little bit, you need to get in here and cut that steel bead on both ends of the can, and then this way you can start to work the seam apart. And as you can see, the seam will come apart, a little prying with a little bit of a screwdriver, and then it leaves a nice edge on each side that's not sharp. So now my plan is, before I pry all this apart, I want to cut along the bottom. I'm going to make a nice line while this is still somewhat together here. Cut right around that bottom there, make two halves. And then I'm also going to have to cut that lid. So I'll get back to you guys shortly, see how this project goes. Hopefully this will work out good and help some people out there. Where there was one, now there is two. After doing some cutting and prying apart of the seams, now we have two would appear to start looking like some reflectors. So let me show you real quick. Here was the handle. Same thing here. You can see where the notches were. Just cut the back side of it with the grinder and cut them little loops off, and the handle will come right out. Then you can cut your lid in half, and then there you go. What I think I am going to do is come in here with some rivets and probably rivet this lid. You could use sheet metal screws, anything you want, just to secure the lid. And since I'm doing it, I'm going to do the bottom too. The bottom is seamed, but I just want to pinch that seam again and go ahead and rivet that up. Now, as you can see, by using the seam and prying it apart, no sharp edges here to clean up. I do have cleanup here across the bottom. I do have cleanup here and over and across the lid. But all the side edges are clean. I just went around and crimped up with the pliers, crimped that seam back closed. Just use your flathead screwdriver, get in there and slowly pry the seam, and then push it like together, and it'll pop out of there. It'll pop right through, and you can go right around the whole thing like that. Once you see how it starts to come apart, it'll be self-explanatory. Just a quick note on safety. I had to mention this, it just occurred to me. Always wear your protective goggles. Always use your grinder and cut away from you. While I was cutting the bottom, for whatever reason, the bottom blade caught and disintegrated. As you can see, broke in half, broke the spindle out. It just flew in a million pieces. Luckily, because I cut away from me, it flew away from me, and I had the guard, which everyone should have the guard. See the silver guard on the back there. Have the guard in place, so it kicked all the debris away from me. Obviously nothing hit me, but always be safe when you're doing these type of projects, because you never know when something's going to occur, and there's no reason to get hurt over something like this. So what I'm going to do is clean these up, get riveted, sheet metal or screws, whatever, get them together as one whole unit, and then I'll be back and we'll talk about some lighting options that we can do with our two new really big reflectors. Also, you know what, while I've got you going here, let's just take a look at size here. So basically, we have two reflectors now, $20. They're 20 inches long and roughly 28 inches high. And there are 9 inches deep, and I bet the top's probably closer to 10. Yeah, closer to 10 at the top. So that's a good size reflector. I mean, that'll cover, a lot of guys make homemade Sterlite tubs, you know, or Rubbermaid tubs. That'll definitely cover an entire tub, and you can really put the light to the thing. So I hope you guys like the project so far. We'll talk about some lighting here shortly. As soon as I get these cleaned up, be back shortly. Hi guys, real quick, I wanted to mention these cans also are made in America. Right there on the sticker, Invest in America, made in the USA, by a company, Barron's. Let's see, they've been in business a long time. 1911 it says, metalware company. So, you know, if you're proud to be an American like I am, you know, please try to invest in America. I know a lot of products on the shelves today, you know, are from everywhere but here. So if you can, try to find some that'll help out a fellow American and keep him working. I got the riveting done. What I did was go around and drill the lid and attach these rivets all the way around the lid, so now, as you can see, the lid is firmly attached. I also went down in through just 3 rivets. There is a seam down there, but just threw a couple rivets around there. Quick note, what I found out when drilling the lid in, start at the back first, you know, line it up on the sides. Start at the back first, because the longest rivet I had when I did that one over there, I started on the sides, and it couldn't reach real well. So if you start at the back, it pulls the metal in, and then you still end up nice, and the rivets end up attaching real well inside there. So I still have to clean them up. Right now we have 2 there. We got 2 cans, or 2 half reflectors there. So I'm going to clean them up and get the metal burrs all cleaned up and get back with you guys shortly. Alright, we got some lights in here now. What I did was run a few sockets. Those are just some sockets you could find at Lowe's. Everything here is pretty much from Lowe's. Put a little washer on there for stability. Ran that out here, and they are pre-wired. And I got this little Romex box that I riveted to the side edge here just to hold the box in place. And then I ran all 3 wiring together, cut the head off an extension cord, which you could buy a lamp cord, but a lamp cord is like 3 times the amount of money of just buying a 9-foot extension cord or a 6-foot and cutting the end off. And then wired it up. What's important here, if you're not familiar with wiring, you have a hot side, which is the black, and a white, which is your common wire. You wire the whites together, the black together. Now what's important here is that you properly wire the extension cord to the white and black. The black wire always goes to the smooth side of the extension cord, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. If not, look at an extension cord of your house, you'll see what I mean. There's a ribbed side right there. There's ribs on this edge. There's a smooth side on this edge. The smooth side always goes to the black. The common side, or the white side, always goes to the ribbed side. which translates up into here, which everyone probably knows these prongs only go one way. The wider prong is the white, that's the common side. The narrower prong is the hot side, or the black. So make sure you wire that up right so there's not a problem with that. Also, real quick, I started cleaning these edges up, and they really became a pain to try because it's a thinner metal, and sanding it, and I thought, well, what could I do? $2 at Lowe's. This is paneling, edging, corner edging for paneling. Went down, got it, cut it with some heavy scissors, and I just laid it right over. Now the sides here are seams, so they're smooth. I just laid it over the two ends. So right now we got 6 sockets in here that could hold a bevy of lights. You could even put more. This thing's really big. So I'm going to finish up wiring the other side, get it all together, and show you the final product. And there we have it, the finished product. What I did just for purposes of video, and I hung it between some chairs, I added these hooks on the ends. Each end I added the hook, tried to find the best balance point, you know, so they can be hung with chain. Here's one of the finished electrical boxes on the end here. As you can see, the extension cord just comes out of that. Each side has 3 lights on it. As you can see, now that's only 5 bulbs running. I still don't have a 6th bulb in it right at the moment, but as you can see, it seems to work really well as a reflector. Let me see if I could get a shot up in here of the lighting. Here you go. See, you got 2 bulbs down on that end, which, like I said, the middle one isn't there. 3 bulbs on this end. You could run any combination of lights you wanted to in here. The end ones down there you see are 26 watt. This center one's a 42 2700K, and the ends are 6500K. But basically why I wanted to build this was so you could see you could run any type of lighting configuration. It's a good size reflector, fit over the common Rubbermaid tub hydro systems that people built. It was relatively inexpensive to make. I got another half to still build, and it worked real well. So hopefully this will help someone, give someone some inspiration, some ideas. If you have any comments, questions, please feel free to post. Please subscribe. I plan on doing a lot more videos. I sound like a broken record every video I say that. But please subscribe. Any questions, please ask. That's how we learn. Hopefully we learned something together here today. Thanks for watching, guys.